Everyone. This is Olga Adler from Austin Businesswoman, and today we're so excited to talk to Nick Cotto, the founder of We Are Not Broken, an amazing local nonprofit organization that helps women and girls share their scar stories, no matter if they're physical, emotional, mental, or any other kind of stories. Nick actually won Nonprofit of the Year award in Austin Businesswoman of the Year award ceremony last year. So congratulations again. And
Thank
you
you.
just got nominated for this year. So people remember you, people support you, and people want to see where you're heading. So talk to us about so from the very beginning. How did you start, and what compelled you to embark on this mission?
Well, first, thank you for bringing me on and the honor of winning Nonprofit of the Year last year for your organization. It's for sure an honor. Wow, what started it? I feel like so many things led up to it. I was in strength and conditioning for I want to say 24 years in professionally too, and I just listen to women beat themselves up all the time. They were not good enough. They were not thin enough. They were not this enough or that enough. Then, you add any kind of trauma to that. And by trauma, I mean, physical scars, emotional scars. My husband was in the military for 26 years. So I was really surrounded by the military community. So I've seen a lot of trauma in that community. So you add that, compound it all, and then with the expectations of how a woman is supposed to act, look, um, it's an insurmountable amount of pressure, and one that is pretty unattainable to achieve, because we're always constantly trying to achieve that perfection or comparing ourselves to another person, another woman, whether it be career or the way we look. So after my husband had retired from the military and we moved here to Texas, I ended up retiring from fitness, and I just really was searching what am I going to do with the second half of my life, right? I really want to make a difference. We're in a great position. My husband's doing great. Grown kids, got a young daughter, and I'm like, what can I do to make a difference where not only will she look up to me, but I can make a difference in the lives of so many others. And I picked up a camera one day and I taught myself photography. I'd been to a couple of classes, but back then it wasn't digital photography. It was the 35 millimeter, and I loved it, the darkroom and all of that. But that era has since gone. So taught myself digital photography, and doing that, I was volunteering at my church on the photography team. And every time I would get the chance to volunteer and I would leave after I'd volunteered, I'm like, oh, this is amazing. I would love to be able to use the camera in some form or fashion, because capturing these people in their vulnerable moments, in their times of joy, in their times of sorrow, crying, praying, hugging each other, that to me is moments that you capture that are forever. And I'm like, how do I translate that to women? And my friend came into town. She had just buried her mother from breast cancer, had this amazing story. She was a client of mine. We were stationed at the same army base in Alabama. And she's like, hey, Nick, I'm in Texas. Can I come see you? And we hadn't seen each other for like 6 years. And I'm like, yes, come on up. Our youngest son had moved out. We had transformed his bedroom, or I had transformed his bedroom into a makeshift studio. If I look back on it now, I'm like, wow, that was, I don't even know how I got away with that, taking pictures. But, she came up one night, traveling across back to Alabama, and I said, hey, let's go have fun. Let's go in the studio and take some pictures. And she's like, cool, I'll go put makeup on. I'm like, nah, let's not do that. Let me take some pictures of your scars. And I kind of knew about scars because my mom had breast cancer. My sister had passed away from breast cancer. So I knew what they looked like. Well, anyway, I had seen what breast cancer had done to her body, from being her trainer to her friend, to seeing the aftermath of what cancer had done. So I'm like, let's just take pictures of your scars. So she said, okay. She took her top off, and she had this beautiful butterfly tattoo on her back. And the scars went round her back. It was a transflap surgery. So her scars, instead of in the front, went round her back. And the wings of the butterfly just fell on the scars like it was always supposed to be there. She'd always had that butterfly tattoo. That wasn't something she added.
Mm-hmm.
But it just was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. And I'm like, can I share this? And she's like, yeah. So I put it out on Facebook that night, and I'm like, hey, if there's a woman or a girl that's out there and she has been made to feel less than because of no fault of her own, if she's got scars, if she's got stretch marks, if she doesn't feel pretty, I want to take your picture and I want to do it for free. And didn't think anything about it. You know, we enjoyed the night. She got up the next morning, got ready, left. I made my cup of tea, went and opened my inbox. And when I tell you, it was full of women reaching out. And literally in that moment, because I've been praying up to this point, oh, Lord, what do you want me to do? I want to do this, but what do you want me to do? Because I always want to be in your will. And it was like I heard the Spirit of God say, this is what I want you to do. And I want you to call it We Are Not Broken. It was that. It was literally just like that. I felt it in my spirit. And up until this point, I've been searching for almost 2 years. So it wasn't an overnight thing. I had been volunteering for almost 2 years, doing photography, learning myself. And from that second, it was go, 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 go. I taught myself everything about nonprofits and how to do it. And I did it I did all the paperwork, read Nonprofit for Dummies. Like I just soaked as much as I could about how to do this organization and how to do the foundation as strong as I possibly could so I could serve and just keep serving.
That's a wonderful story. I actually never heard that beginning part. I've known you for a long time, but I've never heard that inception of this mission and how it came to you. Uh, and you said that you started learning about nonprofits. How did you decide to approach donors or the community? Because storytelling through photography is not the most common way of helping the community. There are a lot of communities where they donate directly to I don't know, children or pets or environment or anything like that, but you managed to create this huge community and support just by storytelling. What's your compelling argument? What wins people over?
So the biggest thing for me with photography is when you capture somebody's image, that image is there for eternity. I mean, it's sometimes those images outlast us, and we all know it because have you ever been into an antique store and seen pictures of families? You're like, those were real families. That's not a painting or a print. That was somebody's family. That is a story of somebody's life. And the way a woman views herself in a photograph is you often hear, wow, I look like that. That's me. And like, yes, you look like that in the picture and you look like that stood right in front of me. So it is your perception of yourself that sees yourself different because the world around you sees you as this beautiful woman. And we have got to get the head connection, the eye connection to connect. So for me, it is, I'm really big in research. Whenever I want to know something or learn something or learn a new task, I will research it to ad nauseum. So right now, I want to be able to prove through research that we have been collecting over the past 4 years that photography goes hand in hand with mental health, and you can use both of them to improve somebody's mental health.
Oh, there is science behind it.
Yes, I want to show people the science behind it. So that for me is the argument. We should not, you see it all the time. You'll see in October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So what do you see mostly of? Mastectomy scars. Women, they're, beautiful, but they've tattooed themselves up, or whatever it is. And you only see it, it's relegated to 1 month. Or burn survivor, it's burn survivor month. We've relegated those scars to 1 month. And I was like, we are not supposed to be relegated to 1 month of celebration. So for me, it was like, I want to have an organization that celebrates the whole woman, every single aspect of your trauma, whether that be physical or emotional, because that story in turn is going to save somebody's life. It is going to help another woman walk through what you have had the strength to walk through. So that's the power of storytelling.
Exactly. That's and that is a compelling cause because it does help women just change their mindset about their scar and heal. Even if
Yes.
they can't get over some trauma, they can get through it and build a new chapter in their life. You mentioned that, so you mentioned some stories about cancer survivors. Could you share more examples of how diverse the stories that women come to with are?
Oh yeah. I don't think, in fact, I'm pretty sure unless somebody invents a brand new scar, there's not one scar that this organization has not featured. We featured everything from rape, sexual trafficking, childhood abuse, attempted murder, child loss, infant loss, infertility. We have done amputations, burn survivors, all different forms of cancer, from breast, brain, thyroid. We've done stories of people who have gone in for surgeries and come out, you know, with scars from the surgeries that they now think, oh, that's so ugly, you know, and it was just probably a routine surgery. But because of society, they might have a scar on their knee where they've had to have, you know, knee surgery, which in turn makes them, you know, live a fuller life. But because of the scar in society, they, oh, that's so ugly, I can't wear shorts. And we've had that. We've had stories about bullying, you
Mhm.
know, adults bullying, younger kids being bullied, cutting. We've done quite a few stories on cutting. Yeah, there's so many stories we've done, and we have covered them all.
Isn't
So
that emotionally, psychologically taxing for you? Because you put so many trauma stories through your mind and through your heart. And it's hard even for a professional therapist, who does it for a living. How do you cope with all that shared trauma?
I get this is probably the number one question I get asked a lot, and this is always my answer. Because I believe in God, and I try to walk as closely to, you know, how He wants me to live as I possibly can. God called me into this. It is His calling on my life, the reason I walk this journey and walk this story and this calling out. So yes, I hear some of the most horrific stories, horrific forms of trauma. But on the other side of that, I get to see some of the most amazing transformations. So if I held on to the trauma, it would cloud my vision from seeing the amazing journey that these women and girls are now on, just because they came in and did a photo shoot and shared their story. So that's what I cling to, and everything else, God gives me peace.
That's beautiful. And you chose to work with women and girls. Have you ever thought about sharing men's stories, or do men respond differently to the way they share their trauma?
So in the beginning, it was very clear and evident that it was women and girls. I mean, even just as 4.5 years ago, nobody was sharing stories like they're sharing them today. And I think COVID had a lot to do that, because we were boxed in. So it was like, how do I
Mhm.
talk to people? Let's start sharing stories. But prior to that, people were not doing it. So for me, it was, women are photoshopped. They're heavily photoshopped. They're heavily, you know, this is This is real. This is not, we get on social media, we see glimpses of perfection and we think that's life, right? So men don't do that. Men, men get a shot, men get a scar and we're like, oh, it's my shark bite. They think it's funny, right? Which to them, it's a macho thing. However, I have been approached time and time again from men who say, have you ever thought about sharing men's stories? And I have. And I actually have a domain and the name of an organization that would be amazing to just share men's. But what I'm waiting for is the person that God is going to bring to do that, because I know it's not me. However, he has birthed in me the male counterpart for We Are Not Broken. And it might be me down the line, but right now it's not me. My calling and my attention is women and girls. But to answer your question, yes, I've thought about it. I've actually got the domain and the name for the organization, and I've been earnestly praying for somebody to come and step in and say, I am going to take that to the next level, and I'm going to be responsible for sharing the stories of men and boys.
Sharing the shark bites,
Yes,
right?
yes, yeah.
Yeah, it could be a movement too. Speaking of movement, you have a national We're Not Broken Day, or international even. And
Yeah.
so you managed to create a movement. Why do you think so many people, even those who haven't shared their scar stories or not yet, why do you think they are so supportive of your mission?
I think because nobody else is, it's a brand new initiative. It's a whole new initiative, but it's, even though it's brand new and it's 4.5 years old, even though it's something that is fairly new and people are not used to it, it is needed and people see the need because the inbox stays full. I have not once not had an inbox that's full. So it, I think people are so supportive because everybody has a woman in their life. Everybody has a girl in their life, right? And we all have the stories. We all have the stories. So I think as women start to put aside shame, start to really dive into their own mental health and their own power within them of being able to say, enough is enough. I am enough. Right? Enough is enough of the world telling me what I should be or how I am or what I look like. I have the power to say, no, I am not broken because I conquered death, or I walked through this tragedy, or I was able to come out the other side of this scar, whatever that scar is. To me, they're surviving challenges and rediscovering strengths. That's, I think people see that, they see that vision and the passion, I think, because I'm not going to stop.
Definitely. And you have an army of supporters. You know that a lot of people who are helping you, I guess all of the people who are helping you are volunteers,
Mhm.
and they're donating their services and their time and their hearts to helping your cause. Do you have any openings for volunteer opportunities?
Oh my goodness, there's quite a few. So there is, we're currently building out a professional podcasting room within the studio space. So it'd be great to have a podcasting team, a couple of podcasting teams that take over that,
Mhm.
and they're responsible for, here's the programming for this month. And, as long as it encompasses women and girls and everything that comes with that. So there's an opportunity. There's an opportunity to be an ambassador. I can't make every meeting. I would love to come to Austin and be at every single event for Austin businesswomen, for all the other organizations. But I'm one person, and I also have a young daughter that needs my attention. She's 13, about to be 14. So trying to juggle that. I have 3 grandchildren. So yeah,
Mm.
ambassadors. We would love ambassadors to come and say, hey, I have this day off every week and I can go to a meeting every month on this day. We would set that up. We would make sure that that happened. I just had an amazing person come in here. She comes in once a week and helps with admin. So that's
Mhm.
But the biggest thing is photographers and hair and makeup artists, editors, because if we have a good solid team, like right now we have a great solid team, um, but it's one team, so we can only shoot so many days a month. But if we
Mhm.
had other teams that work together, great. Oh, this is you as a photographer. Here's your hair and makeup, and you're paired together, and you do the same day every month. You shoot stories on the same day once a month. We could reach so many more people. So
Yeah.
yeah.
People who are watching, I hope you reach out because nonprofit don't nonprofits don't only accept donations, they also always need volunteers and people with kind hearts
Mm.
who want to reach out and help. So we strongly encourage you to do this. Could you share some of the upcoming projects and some updates for this year?
Yeah. So our next fundraiser, there's an amazing business up in Belton, Texas. And in the middle of the ice storm, this young woman reached out to me. And I get a lot of people reaching out saying they want to do certain things. And most of the time, it doesn't pan out, you
Mhm.
know. But this one young, beautiful woman, she owns a business. It's called the Bookstore Barbershop up in Belton,
Wow.
Texas. You literally walk in and it looks like a complete bookstore, and you walk behind these bookcases and it is a retro old time barbershop. Amazing. But she reached out and she said she read and everything that We Are Not Broken was doing and would love to support. Could she go ahead and put on an event? And I'm like, yes, if anybody wants to put on an event for us, you can put on an event. And then the ice storm hit, not the ice storm, the big snowstorm hit, and I didn't think anything about it. I didn't even realize that they had it on, and literally 6 months later I was like, oh, let me get back in touch with her because it was so busy. I got back in touch with her and she said, oh, we have your check here, and she'd held on to it for like all this time. So
Oh wow.
we drive up there and I'm thinking, oh, it's probably a $500 check. I mean, we don't get donations rolling in like that. Our biggest thing is the gala, and that's what we put on once a year. Um, and I walked into this amazing space, me and my husband and my daughter, and the whole crew were there who put on this event. I felt like a superstar walking in. I'm like, oh my goodness, what? She handed me a check for $3,000. I about
Oh
fell out.
wow.
Yeah, and to for that was the largest check we had ever got back then. So I
Mhm.
literally about fell out. So every year she's put on this event. So this year, she's putting it again, April 1st. It's up in Belton. It is the Bookstore Barbershop. It is it's with a beard club. It's a car show. So if you have a car, like you want to get in the car show, you can do that. It's just an amazing event. So she has about 35 vendors that she's bringing on, and I'm actually going to take the equipment from here and capture some scar stories while I'm there at the event.
Wow, I'm
So
looking
yeah.
forward to the footage. It sounds like such a beautiful place and a lot of good hearts there.
Yeah, yeah. So there's that. We're gonna do a mini conference down in San Antonio. We have a church down there, and we go, and they donated the whole church. We go set up equipment and capture stories down in San Antonio. I'm working a lot with the military as of late. They've been reaching out, so a lot of great things. Working on Scar Stories Volume 2.
Oh yeah,
Um,
tell us about volume one. It's a beautiful book. Can
yes.
people still buy it or is it sold out?
No, you can go online. You can actually go on wearenotbroken.org. It's on the main page. You can order a book. We'll ship it to you. If you want it signed, we can sign it. So that's still available. And that was the 2019 stories. So I always
Mhm.
knew it was going to be a book. I'm like, this book should be on every coffee table. It actually should be in every single hospital waiting room, especially women's clinics, where, if you've just been diagnosed with breast cancer, you can pick it up and say, oh, wow, I'm about to lose my breasts, but look how beautiful they are when they're gone. This is it, because you don't see that. You don't see these kind of images.
This is a
So,
fantastic idea. I think for someone who hasn't trodden that path yet, it's a great way to see the light in the end of the tunnel, because first
Yeah,
it all looks dark and scary and like this is the end. But
yeah,
you can share so many splendid women who are happy, who are thriving, and no matter what, because women
yeah.
are unbreakable. That's why we are not
Yes, I
broken.
100%. I literally just recorded 3 podcasts today that are going to go out, and one of them actually covers the topic of the word broken. It's powerful.
It
So,
is. It's
yeah.
such a powerful name and the cause too. How else can the community support you? Let's end with this note on how can we help? How can we reach out? I'm gonna put out um, this sign. So if you have your smartphones, everyone, you can easily get on the website and donate. And what are other ways to reach out apart from volunteering and donation?
Um, so if you're a woman or a girl, or you know somebody that is on the fence whether they want to share their story, or they don't think their story is big enough, or it's just a little, uh, just reach out.
Mhm.
Just come see us. Just talk. If you need somebody to talk to about how to share your story, reach out. We're here for you. We want you to tell your story, but whenever you are ready to tell your story, we want you to know that we are here. We are always going to be here. Whatever medium that is, if you don't want to have your picture taken and you don't want to be on camera, come share your story through the podcast. Um, there's so many ways that you can just come and just talk. I'm here all the time. This is the new studio, which we're going to do a launch of pretty soon, a big grand opening. Um, but that phone number on the website is actually my personal phone number. We don't have an office number. It's always been my personal phone number. You have a direct line to me.
So, listen, everyone, and if you have some kindness in your heart and some desire to give back and support women and girls who went through traumatic events and who have been covered in scars or had some scar that is just not letting them live a free and fulfilling life, please reach out to Nick, because Nick has done it for hundreds and hundreds of women, and there is always a light in the end of the tunnel.
Yes. Yeah. Always. Yeah.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you for the
Thank you.
amazing interview. And I'm looking forward to seeing all your upcoming projects and stories.
Thank you so much. And when we do the grand opening, I'd love to invite everybody from Awesome Businesswomen to come out and enjoy this space with us.
And we will definitely come. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much.